governing body of best sports in Louisiana. Of course, the State Farm Superdome Classic set for this Friday and Saturday at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. All 5 state championships under one roof. It's a phenomenal event. Many have been. Some have officiated games. Others, if you haven't been, you need to go. It's coming up this Friday and Saturday, and here to share about the championships and the LHSAA in general is a good friend of the Quarterback Club and a good friend of ours, Kenny Henderson. Kenny?
Thank you, Ken, for inviting me here again this year. It's always a pleasure to be able to come and speak with you and to share with you what's going on in the world of high school athletics and how it relates to the Superdome State Farm Prep Classic. So we do have some changes this year that that you need to know about, and most of which we've already made known to everyone. But one is that we recently just signed a new 5-year contract with the Superdome, and so that'll keep us in the Dome through the 2015 state championship. So this is the first year of a 5-year agreement. So we'll be in New Orleans for the next 5 years. That's always a plus. The Superdome has been the home of the state championship since, I believe, around 1981, and so it's and once the Louisiana sort of led the way, there's more and more states now that are bringing their state championships together, and if they happen to have a dome, they're trying to play it underneath those domes. And so we're always proud to be here. It's one of the premier events in the nation. Our state championships have become synonymous with the Superdome, because when our teams start practicing at the first of the year, they don't talk about going to the playoffs. They talk about making it to the Dome. And that's so that's really the goal, is to make it to the Dome. So we're always proud to be here. Another thing that we're doing a little differently this year is that we have changed the times of the games this year, and so we've always in the past allowed 3 hours between each game, very unrealistically, I guess, because you're not going to play a high school football game and, well, you could play the game in 3 hours, but with all the different pomp and circumstance that we go through with the pregame ceremony and the postgame ceremony and giving the teams proper time to warm up, there's no way that you're going to get those games played in a 3-hour slot. So we are now allowing 4 hours between each game. So those 5A people that are used to playing that 7 o'clock game starting at 9 o'clock, if you show up at 9 o'clock this year, I hope you're watching about the fourth quarter of that game. And so, but we will start. The games will start on Friday at 3 o'clock. A little bit about the 3 o'clock start time. Some people said, well, we shouldn't be starting at 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. We should, maybe push it back a little bit longer. Well, the only way we can allow the 4-hour time is to move that up. And really, whether you start at 3 o'clock or whether you start at 5 o'clock, if you're making an effort to be there at 5, you'll make an effort to be there at 3, and maybe you'll stay out of some of the New Orleans traffic at 3 that you would have encountered closer to 5 anyway. So we'll start with the 1A state championship between number 6 ranked West St. John and number 1 ranked Ouachita Christian at 3 o'clock on Friday. Then another change, and that's a change because Class 1A typically has let us off on Saturday. So we moved Class 1A and 4A to Friday and moved 2A and 3A to Saturday. So 4A, which has typically been the 4 o'clock game on Saturday, will now be the primetime game on Friday night beginning at 7 o'clock. So this year, number 7, Edna Carr, will play number 1, Neville, out of Monroe at the 7 o'clock time period. We will also, then we'll kick things off on Saturday at 11 a.m. Pretty early, but not too early. With the Class 2A state championships, that will be a number 1 versus a number 2 matchup. Number 2, Winfield, will be taking on number 1, John Curtis, in that 2A battle. And then we will go with a 3 p.m. start time for our 3A game between number 4, Amite, and number 2, St. Charles Catholic. So that will be our 3A game, and then we will finish things up at 7 o'clock with the 5A state championships between number 7, Karen Crow, taking on number 5 West Monroe. So that's our lineup in the game. So there'll be some different time changes that you need to note. All of this has been on various websites, but the LHSAA website is also where you can go and get this information. Also included on our website is our ticket prices. We've got a little bit different going on with that also. The general admission prices stayed the same this year, and they are $13 for a pre-sale ticket and $15 at the door, which is the same as it's been for several years now. The one thing you need to know about the $13 ticket, if you happen to go buy those pre-sale tickets at one of your local schools, then those schools get to keep $1 of that ticket right off the top. So if they can go out and sell 3,000 to 4,000 tickets, then they keep $3,000 to $4,000 before they ever go anywhere else. We do have some Loge level reserve seating tickets. Those are $16 and $18 at the door, 16 pre-sale and 18 at the door. And then the biggest change that we have this year is SMG wanted us to try to incorporate the new bunker club rooms, and that's the special seating on the plaza level that will be reserved seating, and it's between about the 35 and the 35 right there in the front. I believe there's like 2,200 seats on both sides, and those ticket prices will be $18 pre-sale and $20 at the door. Some other things that you will get if you go to the bunker club is it provides a variety of additional concession stand. It's basically your own private club area back behind the bleachers there, and it will also have it has its own restroom facility. So if you bought that seat's good for you. It's yours the whole day. You don't have to worry about somebody coming in and trying to get your seat. It's because it is a reserved ticket. And hopefully that will be a good thing this year. We've allotted each school so many of those tickets, and then some of them are just on sale. We kept some for the general public also. So those are some of the new things that we have this year. We are looking forward to our event this year. We've got some teams. There's not, of the 10 teams that are coming, none of the teams are brand new to the Dome. But several of the teams have not been in quite a number of years. I know Amite has not been in probably 10 years. Winfield has not been in 10 or 12 years. It's been a while since St. Charles has been there, because the last time St. Charles was in the playoffs, that was the year of Katrina, and we had to move the event to Shreveport. And Karen Crow has not been since the 90s, to my recollection. So we've got some schools that they've had some experience with the Dome, but they haven't had it recently. So that's always exciting to bring in schools that hadn't been in a while. It brings a new level of excitement. We do encourage you to come out to the game and to be a part of that. We really want to see you there. So that's the state championships in a very short wrap up. If you have any questions about anything, I'll be glad to try to answer them.
Raise your hand if you do.
In the arena, we last year when we bid out, or 2 years ago when we bid out the basketball, the arena actually did not put in a bid. And so we've been working with New Orleans to try to get them more involved with that. And so we would welcome that if the powers that be in New Orleans would look into that for us.
Anyone else? Raise your hand.
Any other questions? All right. I hate to eat and run and talk and run, but I've got a meeting in Baton Rouge that I've got to hustle back for. So it's great to be here, and I enjoy being with you each year. And thank you for allowing me to be here. Thank you.